My name's Matt Smith, I'm from the University of Portsmouth, and I'm a lecturer in applied theatre, and my real interest is puppetry. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a few exercises that I do with my undergraduate students regularly, and these are often exercises that I'm doing to introduce the idea of how to approach puppetry and how to think about being a puppeteer and how to animate objects. But you'll get an idea from what we're doing. So the first exercise that we're going to do is, the principle of this is about you guys thinking about how you can feel like a puppet. And if you feel like a puppet, then you can start to do puppetry. Because what often happens with puppetry is you hold the puppet and you try and push the puppet, and you push the puppet into places and you force it to do things, as opposed to letting the puppet discover stuff. The practice that is sort of analogous to this is bunraku puppetry, which is a Japanese traditional puppet form, and it has many operators on the puppet. So somebody's going to be the puppeteer and somebody's going to be the puppet. Was there anybody like to volunteer to be the puppet? Don't all jump. Okay, Rory's going to be the puppet. So Rory, if you can come in the centre here, and what I want you guys to be is the puppeteers. So it's good to concentrate on. If you're uncomfortable, you just say, "Don't touch me there," or something like that. You don't like that. Is that you're going to use this sort of sense of touch, but you're not going to. You're just going to suggest things with slight suggestions and messages that you're passing on to that person to manipulate their body. Now, what happens when you take your hand away is a bit strange because you don't know what to do because you're not getting any messages. So as much as possible, always have contact with the person that you're manipulating to make them feel like a puppet. So if you guys want to, somebody concentrate on the top and somebody concentrate a little bit on the bottom, well, not literally the bottom, but they're kind of like on the legs and maybe an arm. See how you get on. Just have a play with that technique now. So don't be shy. Just pick a part and just contact there. Yeah? And somebody, it'd be good to have somebody on the head, yeah. So Donna, if you want to go, okay, that's excellent. And just start suggesting bits of movement, yeah? Light touch. You can be a lot gentler in the way that you're suggesting things to Rory's body. And you can move him a little bit off balance, so you can, that's nice. And if you feel yourself going off balance, Rory, you can take a step forward if that feels natural. Do you know what I mean? Don't let yourself fall, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to be the puppet this time. So again, the same principle. You're just going to move parts of my body and I'll respond to it. So just grab, doesn't matter who goes where, but somebody needs to go on their head. It's important that somebody takes their head. Okay, relax, shake out again. Another puppet, so somebody go in the sort of position that I was in this space, so Polly. Okay, so generally speaking, when I was feeling you manipulating me as a puppet, a lot of you you really wanted to hold me, yeah? So by the sort of touch that I mean is, you see how that touch is? And I'm just suggesting, I'm not actually pushing at all. Because with puppetry, if you push the puppet, it kind of looks like you're not giving it enough life, you're not giving up space for life. So let those suggestions that you're giving to that other person be very gentle and a lot kind of more fluid in a way. So don't feel like, one analogy that I would say is that, you know, I don't know if you've ever driven a car, or you've had any driving lessons, often when you drive the car for the first time, you hold the steering wheel in this way and you're like gripping it because you're like, oh my God, I'm driving for the first time, I might kill everybody or myself. So what happens there is the touch is too intense and it means you can't kind of let the object breathe in the sense of puppetry. Okay, so Polly's on. So you guys go on. I'm just going to kind of watch you manipulating now, but use the head and enjoy that. Loads better. Again, be a lot more gentle in your touch. And you can use both hands, Donna, as well. That's it. And now let's see if you can bring her, like you did with me, take her into some more interesting spaces. And Rory, don't forget Polly's head. you can manipulate that head just through simple, tiny little suggestions there. Wonderful. That's lovely. The reason to do that technique is about looking at and feeling like the puppet. But beyond that, it's also good for anybody who's thinking about puppetry to explore the physical limits of objects, but also because you're doing it on bodies, you start to think about how limited the human body is, but how you have to work with that in this exercise. So it gives you an appreciation of everything's limitations and accepting them as part of when you're making puppets and things animated. What we're going to do now is just get our hands a little bit warmed up. So it's really important when you're going to work with puppets, because this is going to be the bit of your body that's going to be the closest contact to the object usually and to manipulation. So getting your hands warmed up is really, really important as a performer. Now there's all kinds of things you can do. You can shake your hands like that. You can stretch them, you can stretch your hands, but you just got to be careful. You don't kind of pull a tendon or you do that. Some people like clicking their hands, but it's quite dangerous. But this one I'm going to show you, and it's just because we're here at Queen's, is I'm going to show you Samuel Beckett magic trick, and you're going to try and copy me, okay? All right, so you put one hand like that and one hand like that, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the mirror of that with our hands. So you're going to go to there. Okay, and this is why it's a Samuel Beckett magic trick, because nothing ever happens, and it keeps not happening. And what you've got to keep doing is see how fast you can go with that. So just do it as a kind of like little playful little coordination exercise. And then you're concentrating a lot more on here, but also in your fingers now that you've warmed them up a little bit more. They're a bit more energized, they're a bit more ready to work with the puppets.